You will only attract people once you stop caring. So you see, most people have this very negative social trait, which is neediness. If you ask me, that's the worst social trait to have. Because what neediness does to your personality is it makes it connection repellent. But if you're like that, I can't blame you right now because I've been like that as well for such a long time. I remember back when I was in high school, or even younger, I believe, I would post pictures on Instagram, and my Instagram profile was private, but I would turn it to public just to post a picture and to add a comment with a lot of tags so that strangers would give me more appreciation, more likes. And then when I would wake up in the morning and see like 20 extra likes from strangers, I would be, yeah, so happy. And then after a couple of days, I would just turn my profile back to private because I wanted to keep it private, but at the same time, I wanted more likes as well. So you see the useless pursuits I went through only for a bit of validation that was probably only in my head anyway. Really useless, Underneath all of that, I was just an introvert that craved validation and even connection, because validation is this not very noble thing to crave. But connection is normal. We all want connection. It's natural. And I knew no better way of craving it, of getting it. So you can just imagine how this neediness seeped into every single social interaction I've had. Double texting and eagerly waiting for replies and not the best energy to bring to social situations. But you see, in all areas of life, we just crave so many things. We crave not only the relationships and the validation, but also success, also achieving goals, also money. And when we crave these things so desperately, we push them away. It's just like a magnetic field. It's just like you're approaching two magnets with the wrong poles and they push each other away. The philosophy of Taoism reinforces this belief that you need to let things come and let things go, and that there is no point in our struggle because life is all about letting things come and go naturally. So if you are a person that's very needy, then I really suggest you take a look into this philosophy of Taoism. Taoeism. My English is not the best, sorry. You'll find it, I'm sure. There is this hidden law of the universe anyway that just seems like whenever you want something so hard, it runs away from you. And that's also because you're in a state of lacking. You reinforce the belief that you lack it, so you need it, because if you had it, you wouldn't need it anymore. It makes sense, doesn't it? So that's why you see a lot of people who are maybe overweight, they start going to the gym, they make progress, but they have this belief all the time that I need to become more fit, I need to become more fit. So they get to the point where they have like 5 years of consistent gym and they still believe I need to get a bit more fit. So they start taking steroids because they need to get a bit more fit, right? But it's just a trap. It's a trap of their mind, of their imagination. And we have to be cautious about situations like this. But in every area of life, whether it's money, relationships, friendships, you can't be needy because you're repelling. So the only right way is to let things flow naturally, to let things come, let things go. And the quick tip I have for you here is that you need to employ the abundance mindset. So for example, when you meet, like the next time you are about to befriend a guy, like let's say you have a guy you respect and you want to deepen your connection with, just picture yourself having two best friends that are already like him or even more high quality. This is how you reinforce your own inner belief of abundance. And then you start acting and thinking more naturally and in a more healthy way. Because neediness is also very unhealthy. It's poisonous to your mind. It's poisonous to your energy field. Now, of course, this is not something you want to employ every single time from now on until the day you die. You don't want to be 80 years old just imagining, abundance mindset, abundance mindset. But it's a quick fix that you might find useful on the short term. Now, when we talk about just letting things come and go and not giving so much importance to everything, A lot of people just try to numb themselves. That can be a good answer on the short term, but on the long run, it's not the good answer because your subconscious just knows that's a lie. You cannot lie to your subconscious. Your subconscious knows everything about you, even better than you do. There is no lying to it. As I said, on the short term, it might be a quick fix, but you need to be cautious about this and to not try to cope to yourself, to just be like, yeah, I don't care about it anyway. If you have to debate it, you do care. The goal here is not to pretend like you don't care. The goal is to accept every possibility. Because why are you needy? Because you desperately think that you are not good enough unless you get that something. It's almost like it's part of your identity and you can't live without it. That's why you have to accept living without it. That's literally the only way you'll ever be able to make this. Like ultimately, even you end up completely alone and like homeless, worst case scenario, let's say, you still have yourself, you still have your mind. And I know your mind is criticizing you right now. I know you can't befriend it, but you have to befriend it. It's such a good experience. Like honestly, I remember a couple of years ago, I was spending time literally home alone, just me with my journal, with my thoughts, with a candle nearby, and I was just enjoying it so much. Or even spending time thinking, looking at the wall and thinking. I was enjoying it so much. But when I was younger, I couldn't do this. When I was younger, I had to scroll on my phone, I had to watch something, I had to see someone and talk to them. There was no sitting with my thoughts because I remember my mind was bullying me all the time. And this is probably the case for you right now, but you need to understand that it's a great asset to have your mind as a friend. It even sounds very silly to me. Like, of course, you have to have your mind as a friend. Why would you keep living with your mind criticizing you all the time? So start spending more time alone in solitude without any distractions. And start befriending your mind because it's fantastic. Now, another quick tip I want to give you is to just accept the worst case scenario. And this is not necessarily a quick tip, more like a direction where you want to go towards, to accept the worst case scenario. Like for example, let's say you meet someone new and they are quite judgy to you. You could just ask yourself, like, what happens if this guy doesn't like me? What happens if I get rejected? And if you want to take some time to journal over this, really write it down in a very silly way. Like, what happens if this guy rejects me or judges me? I will feel bad for like 5 to 15 minutes and then life goes on and nothing else happens after that. Like my life doesn't get affected in any way whatsoever. And you will see that it's very silly. Like when you really put it into words, into these raw words, your reasons are very silly. And you don't really want to be guided by them, right?